headlines. The violence that is Gaza today stemmed from a long, angry history. Israelis and Palestinians have been at war since Israel became a nation in 1948. It's part religion, part politics, part geography, and all of it in dispute. CNN's Michael Holmes explains how we got to this point.
Question 1. What are they fighting over? A sliver of land between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River, about the size of Maryland, roughly 10,000 square miles. But that land is some of the most sacred in the world for 3 religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Why is it so important to them? Sacred sites for all 3. For Christians, Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus, and Jerusalem, where he was crucified and rose to heaven. For Muslims, Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque, 3rd holiest site in all of Islam. And that mosque sits on the Temple Mount, holiest site in all of Judaism. So who lives there? More than 12.3 million people, nearly the same as live in Pennsylvania, but in a much, much smaller area. Just over half that number are Jews, and that is one concern for Israel. Why is Israel's population a concern? Well, if birth rates stay the same and the area isn't split into 2 states, someday Palestinians will outnumber Jews. This represents a potential demographic shift which some believe would threaten the very foundation of the Jewish state. How long have Arabs and Israel been openly fighting? Well, basically since Israel declared independence in 1948. After declaring independence, it was immediately attacked by Arab neighbors, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. Israel fought them again in 1967 and 1973. Eventually, some of those countries, like Egypt and Jordan, made peace with Israel. But the fate of Palestinian refugees is still a source of great tension between Israel and the Arab world. So who is Hamas? A Palestinian organization that rules in Gaza, considered a terrorist group by many countries, including the US and Israel. Its political wing holds a majority in the Palestinian legislature, with most of the other seats held by its political rival, Fatah, which rules the other Palestinian territory, the West Bank. Hamas's charter pledges the group to the destruction of Israel, and it's never given up that fight. It uses its weapons, including rockets, to attack Israeli towns. So how does this end? The international community encourages a so-called 2-state solution, an independent Palestine and Israel, living in peace, side by side. But the 2 sides can't even agree on the borders, to say nothing of the other issues, such as whether Palestine should have a military, or Israel's controversial blockade of Gaza, or what happens to those Jewish settlements on the West Bank, an area which holds increasingly precious water resources. Right now, they seem stuck as uneasy neighbors with an uncertain future.
Michael Holmes, thanks for that report. Still to come, at the top of the hour, we talk diplomacy in the Middle East. Up next, we'll take you live to the Israel-Gaza border where the fighting is happening.